welcome everyone to our 2021 Leadership Conference. I'm really looking forward to the time when we can do this in person again. But for today, we've got a great agenda for you, so let's jump right in. So for our agenda today, I have the pleasure of introducing all of you to our new CEO, Tad Smith. Following Tad, we're going to hear from our new marketing leader and creative director. I'm going to then take a few minutes to celebrate some milestones and accomplishments in your local markets. And then after a short break, we're going to welcome Chris McChesney as he schools us in the 4 disciplines of execution. So you have all read in our announcement welcoming Tad to HCA. His educational background and achievements are extraordinary. Most recently, Tad was the CEO with Sotheby's, one of the most recognized brands in the world, most especially for our audience, for the audience we serve. Sotheby's is focused on high-touch concierge services, premium delivery, many of those things that are really relevant here at HCA. So I would like to invite Tad to join us and give everyone a hello.
Michelle, thank you very much. It's great to be here. I joined on the 16th of November, so I've just entered my 6th month, and I have been overwhelmed by the warmth of the organization and the opportunities within it. And I thought maybe, Michelle, if you wouldn't mind, I'd just give you a few observations in my first few months here to share with our franchise partners. One is one of the resonating features of the organization, I've been in many in my career, is that this one has a powerful mission of care at the center of it. And you can think about it, and it manifests itself in many, many different ways, putting people first. The extraordinary dedication of all of our colleagues during the COVID period is just a classic example of it, finding ways to keep our clients safe, finding ways to keep each other safe. It really is a very important and moving and profoundly compelling place to be a part of. And the whole home care assistance family is really just a very special place, and that's the most important thing I would say that I've observed recently. I would also say along the way, some of the areas where I think we can do just a little bit better are in maintaining and measuring and tracking our service excellence, and more importantly, our consistency. The vast majority of the service experiences we provide are excellent, and that's good. And what we need to do is make sure that all of them are, and that we do it very consistently. And so that's a theme that you'll see going forward in much of our discussion and communication. The second thing, and this comes directly from Lily, I love when she says this, she talks about 1% improvement every day. And I think that's really the motto, which is we want continuous operational improvement every day. Every day we get 1% better. And I've really been emphasizing with all of the home care assistance team that wherever we are in the progress toward excellence, we need to do 1% better every day. And eventually we'll wake up and we'll see, oh my gosh, we were far beyond where we thought we were. And that's a critical area as well. The next one that is a major area of emphasis for us is to continue what has been the case of significant growth. At the core of our mission is that we spread the mission, that we make it possible for more people to age gracefully over the long term in their homes. And that is, and as while their families sleep well at night. And that is the only way we can continue to spread that mission is by growing. And so you will see a continued emphasis on that. In terms of the business overall, it's doing very well. And that's encouraging. And we are optimistic that as we come out of COVID, we will see some strong tailwinds, and that's also encouraging. But even during COVID, the business did rather well. I would say, though, that we've reached a scale and scope now where we have the opportunity from our size to begin doing some things that are actually pretty powerful. One, for example, is benchmarking our performance across the portfolio and across many different markets to see what are the best ways to achieve our mission and achieve our performance in pursuing our mission across the portfolio. The second one is to create forums that will share best practices more effectively. And that's certainly an area where I think we can be doing more with the franchise groups particularly. The third is to, and you'll get a little bit of a taste of that later in the marketing presentation, enhance, concentrate, and professionalize our centralized services, such as marketing and recruiting, and you'll see some very interesting innovations there on the marketing side. And then, of course, as we get larger, we can begin to take advantage of our scale. We're no longer the historical focus on California. We are across the nation, and in fact, in places like Canada and, of course, Australia. And so those are areas where I think as we get more and more scale, we get the benefits of it, including, by the way, one that I would like to put right at the top of the list, which is just fundamentally better technologies. You will see that will be a major theme in the coming years, where our technologies have lagged, in my opinion, our mission, and have lagged our service excellence and consistency. And so you'll see a major effort there as well. So those are my top line thoughts, Michelle, in case you had any other questions for me.
I do have some questions that we solicited from the field. I'm going to go ahead and pull that slide down because I got a note that said, hey, we'd like to see you rather than the slide. So thanks for the note, Lori. And I do want to thank you guys all for your submissions and sending in some questions. And I pulled a few out that are appropriate for this introduction. So the first question I pulled out for you is, do you feel that there's a way that franchise and corporate can better share best practices, or how do you feel that?
Well, short answer, yes. And the observation I would have now is that we do not systematically share best practices among our franchise partners and the corporation on a regular basis. We have done it episodically, Michelle, and of course you know that very well. What's really energizing to me, Michelle, in your new role, and also with the support you're getting from the business support group in Kensitron, is that I would like to systematize our ability to share best practices back and forth across the portfolio. There have been traditionally some barriers to that. And one, for example, is to create a regular form of communication back and forth, not just to provide information to the franchisees, which I think this is a crucial part of and an essential part needs to continue and grow, but also to get at the grass level benchmarking information back and forth between us and our franchise partners. That's a little bit trickier because we're not necessarily all on the same set of systems. Some franchisees use Salesforce. We're actually rolling Salesforce across the portfolio, but not all of our places have it. So to get common information that will yield real insight is a major undertaking. That said, the softer parts of that, such as general conversations and more forums where we talk about best practices and performance, those I think we can do more of, and I'm very excited to be participating in that.
Thanks. Next question. What are the top 3 levers you think that the HCA franchise owners can pull to grow their business over the next year?
Well, I've been in the home care business 5 months and a week, so I would not dare to give our entrepreneurial franchise partners any particular advice. So they know how to do it better than I do. I will tell you the kinds of things I'm probing on our own sites, and maybe that's helpful. The first lever I just hinted at, which is technology. We don't have a common set of systems, and we don't have ease of use in technology across our portfolio. And I think that's even more true between our sites and our franchise partner sites. And so we find that there are significant manual operations, and there's also And that yields, whenever you have a lot of manual stuff going on, it yields occasional errors, it yields a high cost structure, it yields slowness or sluggishness. And so one area where I think there is a real opportunity for not just us, but all of our franchise partners is smart, careful, lightweight investments in technology that will actually help drive the business. The second one, a key lever to me, and we all know this, is as we come out of COVID and the employment market begins to strengthen materially, very quickly, we're going to be in a scramble to attract, develop, retain, and train, and then create incentives to retain the highest quality caregivers. And in that situation, I think we're going to really have to have almost I don't know, I struggle for the word, but it's going to have to be a Cambrian explosion, if you will, of innovation to figure out all the ways that we can differentiate ourselves and our franchise partners from our competitors in terms of creating an environment for caregivers. And that is a long-term environment where they can really thrive and grow. So I've spent a lot of time in the field talking to those who are on the front lines, and we have developed a long list of opportunities that we can begin making changes for caregivers to improve that. These are all things that to me are would be in that list. And the earlier question you asked me about how to share best practices and benchmarking with the franchisees, there's nothing particularly proprietary about any of this, and we would love to share it. But we're going to use the opportunity to experiment. Some of these things are going to work, some of these aren't going to work, and we're going to try them and keep trying them until we get the right formula. And as we get the right formula, we are delighted to share with our franchise partners. I think the third thing that is really important to me, at least, is, so the first one, as I said, was the application of technology to improve the business. The second thing I would say is to what extent we can attract, develop, and retain caregivers. The third, I would say, is really thinking about the models that drive our growth and drive our business, and being flexible and open to different kinds of models with that. For example, we are reviewing and changing our some aspects of our Salesforce compensation. We're thinking about what does it mean to create and bring in new kinds of clients. The vast majority of our clients come right now through a referral channel. You're going to talk to Ru Yun shortly, and she will be talking about a real flourishing, if you will, of new consumer marketing across the whole range of different disciplines. And those are the things where we think there could be opportunity, which is we really need to innovate. And if you find, or I find, or we find that you're doing things the same old way, or even the way that you were doing 2 or 3 years ago, I think there's a real opportunity for significant growth and innovation going forward. So those are the 3 big levers. Technology, for sure, that attract, develop, retain, train, grow caregivers, create great paths for them. And then third, generally innovation in our business model.
Thank you very much. What do you envision for the future of home care over the next decade?
Well, you know, there are some very powerful forces at work that could potentially and materially change our traditional business. Let me cover just a few. I've covered this in several phases, earlier comments, but now I'm going to be even more direct. Let's talk about changes in technology. There are several here that are really powerful. First, it's no surprise that whether it's Alexa or Amazon or Internet of Things, monitoring devices, there are ways that we can create low-cost technology applications that will provide some measure of safety for people who are aging in the home. Now, I underline the words here, some measure of safety, because they don't replace our total value proposition. But one of the things about technology that's kind of interesting is they start at a low level of overall quality and innovation, and they get better and better and better and better and better. And so one of the things we need to think about is how do we harness those new technologies, because we know they're going to get better and more effective, and what could we do to improve our business model in that environment. Technology also has a complete different aspect, which may not be initially obvious, but nevertheless is there. I am fortunate to be joining the Alzheimer's Drug Discovery Foundation board. And one of the things that's very striking about that, when you get close to that, also I'm involved in cancer as well, in a different context, is I am struck by, and by the way, actually, let me step back, and we could say anybody who has observed the spectacular innovation in rapidly deploying vaccines to market using mainly modified RNA technologies. One of the things that struck me about all three of these is the ability to neutralize symptoms that have traditionally crippled the experience, the life experience of elderly in the home is rapidly changing and rapidly advancing. I'm not going to say, I'm not naive enough to say that we're going to cure Alzheimer's tomorrow, but I think the folks at the Alzheimer's Drug Discovery Foundation believe it's very realistic that in 5 or 10 years, you can actually begin to have more of a normal life. And also the other thing I would say is technology is making it possible for the elderly to last longer in a joyful and a productive experience. This will change the overall concept and approach that we take. It means there will be more people who need our service for longer periods of time and have a diversity of needs. Those are the kinds of things where I see interesting changes going forward. That said, the big message is there are a lot of people and a lot more every day who are aging, living longer, and want to live in their home. They don't want to be moved out. And there are a lot of families that really don't want to take the catastrophic decision that my brother and I ultimately had to do, which is to move mom out of her home. That is a sort of decision that you delay until the last minute. So getting in there early, getting in ways to find, to provide people with alternatives to that is an extraordinarily powerful value proposition for all of the home care assistance family, franchise partners, and others.
Thank you. Wow. All right, so I've got a couple more questions for you, more pertaining to our franchise organization. Where do you see the franchise organization 1, 3, 5, 10 years from now?
Yeah, it's a very good question. As I said, I've only been here sort of 5 months and a week, and I've been very much immersed in some of the things that we've talked about. So I haven't really had a chance to reflect on it, and so I reserve the right to come back and further. I will say this. It's very much too early to have a definitive plan in my mind on the future. We are thrilled with our franchise partners and are fully committed to supporting them. And in fact, in innovative ways, such as the way that Ruth is going to talk about. I love the notion of focusing on best practice sharing. I love the notion of finding ways where we could be on common platforms so that we could begin to collaborate even more effectively across insights and how to serve and on training. I know that our business support group with Ken and you, Michelle, have created a sort of forum to create those approaches, and so more communication and more transparency, I think, will be good. And I love there will be, as we reach national scale in the corporation, and Rue might want to talk about that, there will be a significant expansion in the marketing and advertising, and that will have ancillary benefits to our franchise partners across the markets, I'm pretty sure. And then obviously, I'm keen to figure out what we can do with either Salesforce or other replicable technologies where we could actually help pass information and potential clients back and forth. So these are all things that are in the exploratory phase, which is why, from my perspective, I see our franchise organization and our company overall coming out of COVID with secular tailwinds. But in terms of specific strategies related to franchising, it's too early for me to say. Thank you.
Thanks. So the last question we've got for you, what is the plan for corporate buying franchises in the future?
Well, this is sort of a subset of the last question, but I'll try to be more specific, which is we did buy a number of franchises last year, and we bought some the year before. We will be buying some this calendar year. Those are situations where it has worked to our advantage, as well as importantly to the franchise owner's advantage to do that. It is, thus far they've been working out very well, and we see at this juncture no reason to change that strategy.
All right. Thank you so much. Let me see what I've got here. All right. Thank you so much, Tad. We are going to invite Cameron and Rue to join us and start sharing about marketing.
Then, Michelle, I'm going to wish you all a successful conference, and I thank you for the invitation to have the opportunity. I hope you'll have me back soon.
Thank you so much. Cameron, Rue, thank you so much for joining us. I'm really excited today to be able to invite you guys to join us and to give us a marketing update. And I'm going to hand the reins over to you, Rue, to introduce yourself and Cameron and share with the folks.
Hi, everybody. I can't see you, but it's great to be here. I'm really happy and excited to share some of the future outlook of what we're doing in marketing and how this might also support you and your efforts. I'm just gonna, well, let's see. And can you see my screen?
Yes,
okay, I'm going to assume that we can all see my screen. So just quickly, what we're going to do today, Cameron and I, we'll both tag team, but just intro ourselves quickly. I'll give you an oversight of what our 2021 strategy is and how this might impact some of your efforts. Cameron will take us through some of the new brand and creative work that she's started working on. And then we'll just wrap it up with some highlights, just repeating some of the new initiatives that will impact you and your business. So I'm Rue. I started I'm in my 3rd month now. What I'd love to say just about my background is that I'm somebody that's very passionate about the live experience, about humans connecting, about sharing of experience and delivering of exceptional experiences. And I think I can probably tie that through my journey over the last 20 years, having spent 12 years at Madison Square Garden. I've also worked at Sotheby's, Barney's New York in retail, as well as Superblue, which is a new experiential art company. I love what we can do in terms of lifting the human spirit, and I think that's very relevant in healthcare and what you all are doing. And I hope that my background and experience translates well into this business. I think it's been really exciting to learn and to get to know everybody and see how passionate and compassionate this business really is, and every single member and what they bring to their clients and the community. So I'm very excited to be here. I'm going to hand it off to Cameron to intro herself.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here. My name is Cameron Tuttle. I'm the creative director at HCA. This is my, 3 months and 2 days I've been at the company. But before coming to HCA, I was at a company called Honor. So I've been in home care for about 6 years now. Honor is a company based on technology that's building care. I'm really excited to be here at a company that's really focused on care and has built its reputation business on delivering great care, and is now adding technology and innovation to that. Why am I in home care? I've done a lot of different things in my career. It is a tremendous challenge. As many of you know, even when people need home care, need help at home, they really don't want it. So I find the mission of this company really, really powerful, and the work that we do every day makes a difference. So that's why I'm here, and I'm excited to share with you some of the things that we're working on.
Great, thanks, Cameron. Here we go. So just sharing some of the highlights of really what the marketing organization is focused on. First and foremost, our team is really about driving organic growth, meaning that we are always focused on every channel, every effort, every tactic that we do to drive leads, but also taking that lead through the funnel. So really thinking about how we can optimize the funnel from taking somebody from a lead all the way through to start of care. We're also, as an organization, looking at helping to improve and increase brand awareness. In the marketplace of senior care, 75% of people or users start their search online. 83% are brand unaware, meaning that they don't have any brand in mind. And I see this as a huge opportunity to be top of mind as home care assistants across the nation, and even US and Canada and Australia. But just something to keep in mind that it's really a territory that we can claim, and we can do that starting with more advertising, different channels, and better creative. Also on the marketing organization side, Tad had touched on how we can better improve processes, operationalize the process, better collaboration and communication. It's something that we're also focused on as a marketing organization. One, being here and getting in front of you hopefully opens the conversation up so that we have a nice two-way communication started. But we're also really heavily focused on how we can improve the efforts of the marketing organization that becomes more accessible and utilized by franchise owners and across the entire corporate organization. So one area that we've already been connecting regularly on is the need for content and creative. So we've been meeting on a weekly basis and how we're starting to improve some of the creative assets, understanding what assets are most utilized, and really trying to find an effective way to create customizable and templated assets that everybody can use on their own. We're also looking at a future outlook of just a job ticketing system of how creative requests, any other future requests can come through the marketing organization, and that we can make sure we manage and output these necessary assets in a timely way. And also, as Ted had mentioned, within the marketing organization, we are also heavily focused on caregiver recruitment and lead generation. It's new in our company. We have recently, or are going to start a new digital growth manager that's going to focus on caregiver recruiting. And that's something that might be exciting across the organization, but understand that there's a very heavy need in the industry and across all of our offices in terms of caregiver recruiting, and might share a little bit at the end of more creative that we might be producing to help support that as well. So just a quick look, we are currently, the current and the future state of what we're doing. The new is actually already in progress, but the company's been doing very well and focused on areas like paid search and organic search and really investing heavily there. What we're doing that's new and that we've really started implementing earlier this year in February was expanding our digital channels. This also expands our audience reach and prospecting to new audiences through digital display advertising, paid social media advertising, and the future look at producing some video that we can serve, whether through social and digital, and even television. And just quick notes, I'm not going to read through every bullet point here. We're happy to leave behind this deck, but display advertising, how this is started to broaden beyond what we're doing in just search. We're using two different platforms that are both with Google. One is just Smart Display and the other is Discovery. Through Smart Display, it's a very effective way to deliver not just increased impressions and reach across various audiences, but what we're doing is leveraging Google's machine learnings to help us bid properly on getting our display ads served to the right audience at the right price. But also what the Smart Display platform does is help us test creative. So we've got 6 or 7 different images being used. We also have 3 to 4 different headlines alongside a variety, maybe 3 to 5 different body text copy. And Google serves what's being converted or people clicking through the most on. So it starts to optimize the best creative. And we can also continue to rotate out, rotate in new copy. So we're always delivering the best message that people are actually engaging with. The other is Google Discovery, which is also an interesting tool. There's a lot of words here, but the best way to describe it is it's display retargeting through search terms. So if people are searching high intent terms related to our business, whether that's home care, senior care, elder care, et cetera, we can retarget them with display ads. And so this is a great another way of getting people pushed through the funnel if they've engaged with us and searched with us, but to re-engage them again with display advertising units. And last, and probably what a lot of you are already doing, is social media. So we are investing more heavily in Facebook. We are, and Cameron will showcase some of the work that we're doing, leveraging both carousel and display units. But the exciting part about Facebook is really you can reach a broad audience based off of behavior and attributes and really target in on the right audience. You can also target them throughout the funnel, meaning that they might have shown interest or might be part of a group, a Facebook group or support group or caregiving group, but can also continue to retarget them throughout their journey, meaning one is interest. You might serve a carousel ad. Somewhere down the line, you might serve shorter messages just to continue to re-engage them and get them to activate or click through and visit our site. So I'm going to hand it off to Cameron to share the exciting visuals.
Thanks, Rue. So as you know, HCA has really built its reputation and its business on delivering great care and a really great care experience to the care recipient and the family. So our primary goal with marketing and branding is to simply elevate the quality of our materials to that level of care. We'll also be modernizing the brand's look and feel a little bit, moving away from the Victorian teacups to reflect a more accurate way that older adults are actually living, even as they age into the time in their life when they need some support. So we'll start by what I'm calling a refresh and update. So nothing drastic, no wild color changes, but we will be looking at adjusting some of the accent colors. We may look at some of the patterns, fonts, and primarily our focus is on photos, because photos really say a lot about a brand. So we're going to be improving the quality of the photos across the board, investing in a higher quality and a broader range of stock photos. And also we're planning our own photo shoot to create images that reflect our caregivers accurately and our clients accurately, and give us a little bit more control over how we reflect our brand to the public. And then in terms of voice, we're going to humanize our voice more, not just to build trust, but to build a real connection with our audience. I think in the past, there's been a little bit of a kind of corporate approach and kind of a broadcasting, like description, this is what we do. We're going to talk to people directly. There'll be a we, there'll be a you. So really just using every messaging opportunity to build a relationship that hopefully will resonate. And we're now in the process of refining our brand guidelines, and we will then share those company-wide, and then we will work hard to maintain those standards across all markets so that everybody who is maybe creating some of their own materials will have some guardrails and know exactly what they need to do to reflect the brand in the same way that the brand is being reflected globally. Okay, next slide, Rue. So yes, as I mentioned, we're going to focus on the quality of the imagery. We're going to be developing a point of view and a photo strategy. But the big gist of it, we want to show real people doing real things. You'll also notice brighter, fresher, more modern imagery. And this is important. We've actually seen a result in some of our recent advertising where the images that were brighter and cleaner and simpler were performing, those ads were performing better. So there is actually data that supports, let's show a brighter, more optimistic look. It's still an older person, it's still a person in their home, but it feels a little bit sunnier. We are currently going through and auditing the existing photos that we have in our library. We'll be retiring some of the old ones and introducing many new ones. And we'll have a big and robust library of images that reflect this new visual point of view. So we will be, as I said, retiring some of the photos. So no more filters, no faces, not feet. And we really want to reflect genuine relationships and activities between clients and caregivers. There's a lot of beauty and power and meaning in what in that relationship and the simple daily tasks that a caregiver helps a client. So we're going to show more of that and less dancing. Okay, next image. We also really want to reflect more diversity. We're very proud to have a large workforce with many ethnicities represented, many skin colors, many body types. We want to show that. We want to show diversity among our clients as well. So we are going to be working very hard to capture images of genuine caregivers really enjoying their work. And here's a little bit about humanizing the voice. We're going to make, first of all, the messaging will be more focused and clear. That just has to do with kind of information architecture and using things like, hey, let's start with a short, compelling headline, and then a subhead that kind of describes what we're talking about and really speaks to the reader, highlighting the benefits to them. So kind of less about us and more about what we can bring to you and your family. The tone will be warmer and more conversational while still reflecting our expertise and being professional. But we're really trying to communicate the way people actually talk and do that in our writing as well as any sort of video or moving images. And we will be speaking as a human to a human rather than, as I said before, kind of broadcasting out to the universe and hoping that it may resonate with somebody. So just some very small changes, but hopefully you'll see a big difference in the quality of the content that we're creating and the effectiveness. Okay, we're going to show a couple things. So here's an example of a print ad. The ad on the left is the original one, and the one on the right is one that we created a month or so ago. And it's just some very simple changes: a brighter, simpler image, a strong headline so that your eye knows where to look first, and talking directly to the reader. Fewer words. You know, I think there've been a lot of words on the website, in the materials, and it's quite frankly, I think it's overwhelming. And hey, I'm a writer, and I know people don't like to read. It's a lot of work. So we want to make our materials as easy for people to read and take in, not feel like work. So you'll see more bullet points, fewer words, and more focused messaging. And we hope great, compelling images that catch your eye. Here's another example of some of our recent work. This is a carousel ad. So you would see this on social media. You would see the overall headline: help your parents stay safer, healthier, and happier, living independently in the home they love. Really simple, direct, clear messaging. A sentence that you actually could say to another human being and feel like, yeah, I would say this. So again, we're focusing on the benefits to people, not talking about us so much. So then you'd see all 5 of these images: support, companionship, independence, relief. This is home care. So very clear, simple, direct messaging. We're also seeing an opportunity to let's help people understand what home care is. There's a real need, I think, out there to raise awareness, not just about HCA and the quality of the care we provide, but raise awareness about home care in general. You know, I think many of you know, until somebody really needs it, there's a fall, there's a diagnosis, somebody moves away. Many people don't even know that home care is an option. So we will use our ads to not only feature the benefits that our home care offers families, but also feature what home care is, just to raise awareness. And here's another example of a carousel ad. Again, really clean, bright images, people who look old enough to, or potentially frail enough to actually need our services, but also happy in their homes, supported, not alone, safer, healthier, happier, supported. This is home care. Again, super clear, clean messaging. And we're seeing great results, by the way. Rue, you can talk about that, but we're really pleased that we've been seeing some really great results. The phones are ringing. So here are a couple more ads. Facebook, happier at home, safer at home. Again, there's sort of a repetition to the messaging, clear, simple, always focused on the benefit to the care recipient and their family. Joy every day, better quality of life. Hey, that's what we offer. Let's put it right out there and not make it too confusing for people. So these are some static ads. And here's some examples of, yeah, we can go into the next one. Thanks, Rue. We're also going to put much more effort into how we market to caregivers, not only people who have experience as a paid caregiver, but people who may be exploring this for the first time. So these are just examples of the types of materials that we're creating now, flyers that are cleaner, brighter, crisper messaging. In the center, a poster that you can put up in a window or on an A-frame in front of a retail outlet. Kind of defining, hey, what is a caregiver? But defining it in a way that sounds meaningful, important, and helpful. We're also doing some yard signs for the first time. So we will be doing two versions of those, one that's talking to caregivers and one that's just talking about, hey, want meaningful work. So we're targeting people who may not have experience as a caregiver, but may be really motivated and moved by the mission behind caregiving. We will also be applying these styles and messaging to a range of new social media assets targeting caregivers as well.
Great, thanks, Cameron. So
Sure.
just a quick recap. On the consumer advertising front, from the organizational perspective, we have increased our spend significantly, planning for a significant increase in spend this year. And as Ted has mentioned, you know, there are ancillary benefits across our franchise offices as well. We have a future goal of working on a video, not a goal, we actually are, working on creating a video campaign that will serve digitally via social media, as well as YouTube and other platforms. We are also considering a national television campaign later this summer. So Cameron shared a wealth of new creative assets. We would love to start to make those available and customizable for each one of you, and can start to upload those into the asset library. We are also planning for new photography, so more to come on that, but we are looking at doing a photo shoot of owned images. Any feedback or input you have in terms of needs there, we'd love to hear from you. And also the website. We are actually looking at not just a refresh, but a redo of our existing website. Some of it is based off of design updates, but really more of a functionality, a user base, and just a more efficient conversion-focused website. More to come on that. And then finally, you know, this is the first intro to you all, just putting our face forward between Cameron and I. I know you guys all work with Heidi as well as other members of the team. We are open to being accessible. We want to improve communications. We want to hear from you in terms of needs. But we want to make it a process that is, you know, sort of manageable, where you're getting things when you need them, and just excited to really be able to support you all, and looking forward to it. That's what we've got today.
Thank you so much, both of you. I'm really excited about the imagery and about the direction and the new resources. So thank you for sharing. Glad for the team. I really appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. All right. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And what we're going to do now is we're going to celebrate some of the momentum that we're seeing out there. To say the least, you know, 2020 was a very interesting year, a year that challenged us to pivot quickly, to step outside our comfort zone, continue to, you know, find ways to make a difference in the lives of our clients, in the lives of our caregivers, all during, you know, a pandemic. And I'm really proud to be part of a group of businesses and business owners who really embraced that challenge and pushed through with some really remarkable results. So let's talk about those results. The Leaders, Best of Home Care Leaders in Excellence. It's the highest award that a home care agency can earn from Home Care Pulse. Leaders in Excellence is awarded based on the client satisfaction ratings that they gather during telephone interviews. And the recipients of this award represent the top 15% of agencies that participate with the Home Care Pulse program, the satisfaction management program. So these HCA sites have proven that they provide quality care in nearly every satisfaction category. So congratulations to the teams in Huntsville, Green Valley, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach, Des Moines, Edmonton, North Fort Worth, Rockwall, North Houston, and Oshkosh. Really, really, it's so wonderful to see 10 of our offices achieving the top 15%. So great job, you guys. Next, we've got the Provider of Choice. Now, the Provider of Choice Award is given to those offices that are best in class for providing quality care to clients. This recognition assures that the agency is trustworthy, that we've proven our ability to provide outstanding in-home care services. And so here are our Provider of Choice recognition recipients. Sacramento, Centennial, Fort Lauderdale, Naples, Palm Beach, Des Moines, Dayton, Edmonton, Philadelphia, North Fort Worth, North Houston, Rockwall, Vermont, and Oshkosh. Great job, you guys. And the third area that Home Care Pulse measured is the employee satisfaction. Now, employee engagement and satisfaction, and I think Tad touched on it earlier, and so did Rue and Cameron. Recruiting and employee engagement has become so much more critical. For Home Care Pulse, after speaking with caregivers, these 20 sites were recognized as best in class for caregiver satisfaction. Huntsville, Green Valley, Tucson, Palm Desert, Centennial, Jefferson County, Fort Lauderdale, Naples, Palm Beach, Cedar Valley, Des Moines, Dayton, Edmonton, Denton County, North Fort Worth, North Houston, Rockwall, San Antonio, Salt Lake City, and Oshkosh. And John and Julie, I know you were last on all three slides. It was just coincidence. Congratulations to all you guys. A really, really wonderful job. With excellent client and employee satisfaction, revenue will follow, right? So let's take a look at our leaderboard. What I've got here for you is our leaders in single site revenue growth from 2019 to 2020. So 2020 over 2019. Omaha kicked it out of the park with $2,800,000 in growth year over year. Let me say that again, $2,800,000 in growth year over year in a single location. Sydney East, 1.6 million. South Calgary, 1.6 million. The Gold Coast in Australia, 1.5. South Fort Worth, 1.5. Edmonton, 1.3 million. Albuquerque, 1.1. Lincoln, $1 million year over year. Mesa, also $1 million year over year. And Melbourne, just shy of $1 million year over year. Congratulations on a great 2020. I also pulled our leaderboard for our multi-location franchise groups. Nebraska combined growth of 3.8 million year over year. Wow. Chicago Metro. So our team in Chicago, 1.4 million, 1.5 rounding up. Palm Beach and Boynton Beach, a little over $1 million growth year over year. Naples and Fort Myers, a little under $1 million year over year. And Dallas at 760,000 year over year. Great job, you guys. Great, wonderful growth. France also seen amazing growth as a whole. This momentum is really exciting, and it reflects the amazing work that you guys are all doing in your markets. Even with some of our offices leaving us to join corporate over the last several years, we've still been able to see this sustained strong growth year over year. Now let's have a look at what we're doing for 2021. Here is our leaderboard. Now, as a network, we saw 31% growth year over year in Q1. our leaders in revenue growth, this is the same period year over year. Zarina and her team in Edmonton, 1.1 million just in Q1 over Q1 last year in growth. Omaha group pulled off growth of 909,000 year over year for Q1, and not to be left behind, Lincoln grew 467,000. Congratulations, Matt and Amy, and your incredible team in Nebraska. Toronto grew 405,000 year over year for Q1. Great job, Steve and your team. Amanda and Adrian in Mesa saw 398,000 in growth. Calgary, Chuck and his team, 394 growth. The Gold Coast in Australia, 367,000. Congratulations, Michelle and Tom. Sheetal and Sunil in Philadelphia, 314,000 in growth Q1 this year over Q1 last year. Smurdy in Melbourne, 301,000. And rounding out our top 10, Margalit and the team in Kenilworth at just shy of 300,000 year over year for Q1 in growth. It's just wonderful results. A great way to start off 2021. Now, I also wanted to share with you what we're doing in our leaning into TRA. So our focus on this has been for a couple of years now, and we've seen some really great momentum over the last few years. So these are some exciting stats that show how this effort is impacting our network. So what we have here is a 5 quarters, and you can see the trend line for our Tier A clients as a percentage of our overall clients going straight up there. And you can see our percentage of clients as Tier C crossing and coming the other way. Very exciting momentum. And now when we lean into Tier A and we focus on those type of clients, what we see is our average invoice grow for the past 5 quarters. Our average invoice, weekly invoice as an organization has grown steadily. Both of these charts are reflections of the healthier book of business that you guys have been cultivating in your markets. So that's wonderful and really, really something to celebrate.